Freelancer Codex podcast. Your host, Steven, and co-hosts Mike, Devin, and JD are all set. Join us and tweet your questions at Freelancer Codex. Find us on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Strap into your javelins and let's drop in.
Welcome, Freelancers, to episode 46 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. I am your host, Steve, along with my co-hosts, Mike, Devin, JD, and a very special guest, Ashe, or Lady-Insanity. Guys, how you doing today? I just realized I played like the wrong intro bumper. I played the really slow one, and it kind of threw everyone off. Sometimes it happens. I mean, we've only been doing this for like a little bit over a year. So, I mean...
Yeah.
I
So
don't
go
know.
ahead and delete that one. Just delete it. Just get rid of it.
How about we do this? Well, I could do that. We'll do this. Mike, why don't you just free flow with the actual introduction right now? How it is. And then we can go from there. No?
Welcome, freelancers, to the weekly episode of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Your hosts, Steven, Devin, JD, Mike, and special guest Ashe are ready to go. Strap into your javelins and let's drop in.
Wow, you can like do that on just like
Nice.
at the touch of a button, can't you?
I'm a professional. I'm a professional. That's what I do. That's what I do. I am back. Maybe that's what it is. I've got all this energy from being gone for 2 weeks. I appreciate you guys keeping the ship afloat as I was gone.
It was really hard to do it sometimes.
I listened. It was good. I appreciate it. It was good.
Well,
You guys did a great job. And so, yeah, I'm glad to be back.
We brought a special guest on to make up for you being gone, but then you showed up. No one thought you were going to be here. We thought you were just going to be done. But Mike's back. This is the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest running Anthem podcast on the internet, where we focus only on Anthem and all things Anthem. Today, we brought Ashe on, who is a very well-known Bioware aficionado. Ashe, would you call yourself a Bioware aficionado?
I've dabbled in once or twice or all the games, just a little bit.
So when you say dabble, so I think, maybe playing a couple hours, but you probably, how many hours do you think you've logged across all Bioware titles? Just a number off the top of your head.
Oh, boy. That is an embarrassing question. Maybe... yeah. If we're including... Say it?
No, good. I was going to say, we have Destiny players that have over 1,700 hours, so don't be too embarrassed.
Well, if we're considering all Bioware games, I would definitely say it's over 5,000 at this point.
Ooh, I like it. Pay me my money. I won. Pay me my money.
So what was the thing that drew you to Bioware games then? To spend that much time and that much, time's an investment. So what is it about Bioware games that keeps you coming back and keeps you invested in them?
So the way that I started off was, I think it was, I technically started off in Mass Effect 3, but the game that I devoured was Dragon Age Origins. And the reason why I got so hard into that was because of the choices that you could have, the different origin stories. So I chose the City Elf story, and that is a really dark story, and that was my first real inkling into Dragon Age, and I was kind of scarred for life, and I'm like, this is a good scarring. Okay, I'll keep playing. This is nice.
So the darkness drew you in then.
You went straight to the dark.
You went straight to the dark. You're on your way to be a Sith Lord.
You are.
Like
You went evil. Man.
So, and also you were also an EA game changer, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? How you got into being a game changer for EA?
So, how did I get involved? Pretty much, I was just I wanted to start back up my channel again. I've been doing Bioware content for a long time now, several years, and I was just kind of inquiring about EA Play or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we have this program that we would like you to join, and it's pretty much up your alley because you're doing all this content." I'm like, "Sure, I don't know what this is, but okay, let's join."
Awesome. Nice, very cool.
That's it.
Technically, I've devoted all my life to Bioware, so
So it's kind of like you're a shoe-in. It's like you're already in it. You're going to be here for the long run. Might as well just have you help promote the game, right? So
yeah,
in too
I'm
deep.
trapped.
Nice.
In too deep.
So yeah, now you can never get out. So you'll be
Once they have you.
Turian,
She's seen too much.
Mass Effect thing.
Well,
So as-
all of you are just about to get into. So
You're
So
too
as someone
kind.
that is-
You are too
as
kind.
someone that has been in the Bioware ecosystem, we'll call it, for this long, how does Anthem look to you with all the changes to no romances, not like the real set dialogue wheel, but more simplistic dialogue branches? Is that something that, as a longtime Bioware fan, you're glad they're changing? You wish they would keep doing that in the new IP?
Well, so whenever the new AP got announced and everything, it was from the beginning, it's going to be a shared cooperative RPG experience. Like, that was already stated. So I was like, okay, I should not expect the second coming of Mass Effect or Dragon Age or Coda or anything like that, despite how much I really want that to be the case. But I don't know, Anthem's interesting to me because it's the developer that I've fallen in love with. Like, I love their games and all that, but they're kind of stemming into this really interesting take of okay, we're going to try something that we've done on a small scale, bring it up to large scale, and we'll see how we do. And it's okay, you're going to bring a whole bunch of different people who like Destiny and like these different kinds of games, and then bring them into the fold, and then we show them Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and they're indoctrinated for life. So I'm okay, that's fine. That's how I interpret it. So I'm good with it.
Well, good. It's kind of letting them branch out and see what they can do with this, and setting expectations where they should be set, not overhyping it and getting too excited, because we all know what happens when you get too excited about something. It never lives up to it. So,
17,000 hours later.
I know. 46
What?
episodes later on the Freelancer Codex podcast, and Anthem will never live up to what we expect of it. So speaking of expectations, we have a couple of story tidbits we wanna cover, things we want to go over, recap, I guess, of the story that we know so far about Anthem. We don't know a ton. We do have some tidbits here and there that we want to discuss. So we're going to talk about the things that we do know. So Devin, you're going to give us a quick breakdown. What do we know about the Shapers? Who are they? What are they? How much food do they eat? I mean, what do we know about the Shapers?
Well, I see you brushed over our Get to Know You segment, so...
Sometimes I just don't want to get to know you guys that much more. I mean, if
You
you
just
want
got to go with the flow.
You just upset my favorite movie's Twilight. All right, just come
it's like I'm not even going to touch that.
I'm not
But you had to
even
bring it
gonna
up.
touch it.
Well
Man,
done.
I'm really sorry that that's out now for people to know because now
There goes our 6 viewers.
there it goes. It's done.
They're
We're all
gone.
done. Now we're all
Wrap it up.
sparkly.
Which team are
We're
you,
all
Steven? You
I see Shapers. They're a thing in a game that we cover.
Yes. So you just want me to start right here at the top, right? So the
I want you to
Shapers.
tell us what we know about them.
What we know about them, right? Okay, so they're not on the world anymore, right? So they were in the process of building the world, and they left. We have no understanding or idea of why they left, right? So they are the gods, as the people on the planet deem them the gods. So how long have they been worshipped? I don't know. We know the Freelancers, they kind of go back, 100 years or so?
That is our understanding, yes.
Yeah, so, they worked with the Anthem of Creation, and there's a lot of story information that we don't know. But, I mean, the basic gist is they were building the world, they left, they created all this crazy stuff, and left us to fend for ourselves. So
Well, and the big thing is that they left their tools, right?
yeah, so all the Shaper relics, all the crazy things that are going on in the world, were all there for us to go and interact with and try not to die.
The big extension cords that they left laying around.
Not
the
extension
Yep.
cords.
power outlets,
They're not extension cords.
They're extension cords.
I'll cite the Mike Gamble interview here for
Right, right.
So we said they kind of left us here to fend on their own, but we actually don't know why they left.
Yeah.
That's kind of up in the air, and they've talked at a couple panels that really isn't the point of figuring out what happened, with the Shapers. They said that that's not going to be something we're going to explore and find out and figure out like the whole story about that in the story of Anthem, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah, why, right?
the beginning is we always want to know what happened before, and this is, why did they leave? Was it just, they didn't pay their rent, so they had to leave the solar system? We know how many planets did they make? I mean, imagine with these kind of tools, they're probably making more than one planet. So are they big creatures? Are they like celestial beings from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe that are just giant and they can put these little things together so their planets are just toys to them?
I like I like to think of that part of the story as like the high level story. Like we're just getting started with Anthem, so they don't want to bring us too much into the deep lore, right?
Nope.
Gotta get milk before meat, right, Stephen? So they don't want to choke us with all that knowledge, right? No, but they have to introduce the world to us, the universe, and get us all there. I'm sure eventually we're gonna find out why and more about them, but. They've already told us the main story is about the Dominion, and for the first part of the game. But so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how deep the lore goes that we can find in the game, and how much it's really going to tell us about the Shapers and who they are and what they did. So
in typical Bioware fashion, they're not going to show us not go in depth into what these people are until progressing to the story and getting these small little slivers of information. And then, once we finish up with the Dominion, whatever happens there, then maybe we'll actually get some more information on, okay, this is the world of what was left over. But I imagine Bioware's not even going to tell us flat out for a very long time.
And hopefully with the way that they have the game built, that it'll be possible for content to continue, so that it'll be easier for them to add in these little story pieces as we uncover them through the years as we play the game. So it is something that, you can find this story bit about the Shapers here, and this is new here. So it kind of gives you something those people that enjoy looking for lore and all the story bits, it'll have something for them to keep coming back. Instead of for those that just like to shoot things in the face, it'll give opportunities for everyone to come back to the game. So.
Like shooting stuff.
A lot of people do like shooting stuff.
A lot of people like shooting stuff. A lot of people like story too.
Yeah. And then we have the Legion of Dawn. We know the Legion of Dawn are the first to have created javelins, according to a little blurb on the pre-order page for Anthem. So they were first to create the javelins. They were first to start defending the people. I don't know if that's just defending the people from the wild of the planet. In the very beginning teaser trailer in 2017, they showed the wall that was defending the fort with a bunch of scratch marks. So I don't know if that's what the Legion of Dawn was all about, just defending the people that were living in the fort from all the wild animals that were trying to eat everyone's face off, or if they were actually protecting people from the Scar, or if it was protection from the Dominion. But we do know they were the first ones to create the javelins.
I wonder how long the Legion of Dawn defended people without javelins. Because you gotta suspect that there's a progression, right? Like all civilizations, maybe stone and wood weapons kind of thing, and then they progressed up to javelins. Or do you think they always had the technology?
I think it's possible that some of the Shaper technology was introduced pretty early, so they might have skipped some of those steps.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I would think so. If you have these giant power conduits, pieces of metal that are already formed that you can kind of just scavenge off of.
Well, that's already in the javelins, right? So a lot of the stuff they don't know how it works; they just know it works. So
yeah, we got that. Science, because science.
Star Wars science. Go ahead.
I really hope that whenever we're going through the world, that we'll actually see older javelins, ancient javelins, not necessarily the Legion of Dawn, but just kind of archaic ones left over.
Maybe one made out of wood or something, because that's the materials they had at the time. Like a wood javelin.
The wooden javelin.
Pretty sure there's going to be a wood javelin. You mark my words.
We talked to Jonathan about that at EA Play. He thought that was hilarious.
He thought that was pretty funny. I still think. I'm holding out anyway.
For a wooden javelin skin.
I am, totally. I will be the first to purchase it.
We'll rock that.
Oh man, a wooden javelin.
And I think there is a lot of possibilities or opportunities for us to discover old ancient javelins that were used by the heroes that defended the fort or went off to explore out in the wilds as far as they could go, that died in flight or ran out of energy or Shaper, the Anthem of creation that powers them. I don't know what powers the javelins. But I mean, there's opportunities to find javelins like that, and I think that would add a lot of lore and a lot of backstory to Anthem. So I think that would be a great.
Yeah. And we also have the Fortress of Dawn, which we kind of talked about a little bit last week, that entire region that's called the Fortress of Dawn, or sub-region, I should say. And we don't know if it's currently occupied. We don't know if it's just a hollowed out spot yet. We haven't really seen any of it in the game. So that could be very well a place that's full of just, like half destroyed or even just somewhat intact, like old javelins that are just no longer operational for one reason or another, which then of course brings up the question of like, what happened to the Legion of Dawn? Like what happened here? Like, if it's not the question of where did the gods go or what made them leave, maybe that's the main question that we're supposed to be focusing on. So
I'm curious how far the Dominion is, because if they are inhabiting the Fortress of Dawn, then, or maybe they're even further off and they're off map and we don't actually see them other than maybe just scouts or whatnot. But I'm curious what inhabits these areas.
Mark did say they were to the north, right, in one of the interviews that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 2 more regions, I believe, up on the map that we haven't seen to the north. So I was wondering that same thing is like, have they kind of tamed the area? Are they in control of the area? Those kind of things. So,
yeah, it seemed like very like Attack on Titan. I don't know if any of you watched that, but it's all within the walls, and then they have this like little small area, and then everything else is trying to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if the Dominion is like as big of a threat as they are making them out to be, like it does really beg the question, like what kind of situation or setup do they have as their base of operations? Because obviously they're well enough equipped to be a named threat to humanity on this planet as we know it. So,
I agree. Sorry, I was distracted by responding to chat. You guys caught me. You
got me.
I'm sorry. So we do know a little bit about the Freelancers. We know that the Freelancers were once lauded as these great defenders, probably because of the Legion of Dawn. And they probably branched off and started doing small jobs, helping people out, probably trying to make some money, trying to make a living on this planet. And we know that the Freelancers have fallen kind of on hard times. We don't know if that's because of some great betrayal that happened within the Freelancers. We don't know we do know that there's a different faction called the Lancers. We don't know if there was some sort of argument where they broke up and the Lancers just kind of went off to do their own thing. The Freelancers were just kind of down, out on their luck, didn't have what they needed to keep doing what Freelancers do, I guess. But we do know that we're down on our luck and we're trying to regain that former glory that we once had. And maybe that's to regain the favor of the people. Maybe the people are looking for other means to be protected. Maybe the Sentinels have kind of taken that over. They are the ones in Fort Tarsus that are kind of walking around with the blue tabards on. So maybe they kind of took that over and they're the new protectors of the fort, and Freelancers are trying to regain that back. That's a possibility. I don't know if, as you guys have heard that we say that the Freelancers are down on their luck, does that mean to you guys, does that mean that's like something we're trying to get back, or it's just, well, I guess we're just not what we used to be, or
yeah, I think that's something we're trying to get back, right? I mean, we're part of the new generation of Freelancers that are trying to maybe regain trust or something. Maybe some Freelancers screw things up. Maybe they left to go to the Dominion. Who knows? But I mean, I think they've kind of talked about that, how we're starting out and trying to get us back into the glory that, or the standing that the Freelancers used to be in. So
I wonder, maybe it's like the Lancers, the group itself kind of ventured too far, maybe, or the Freelancers ventured too far and maybe woke the Dominion. Maybe that's where the Dominion comes in, and so that could create the divide and well, you guys went too far and you broke our rules, and so you can't be with us anymore, and so you have to go do your own thing, kind of thing. I could see that maybe as a plot point in the story, kind of sparking this whole the whole arc of the story, maybe.
Yeah, Ukumio in the chat says it could be something similar to Halo Combat Evolved, where they awoke the Flood right in the middle of fighting the Covenant, so something kind of similar.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea. Like, whenever I see this, like with the Lancers, the Freelancers, or whatever group is also still in Fort Tarsus, like I just see a power struggle and a resource struggle, because
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to get back to the glory, but because everything's so handcrafted and everything's like scavenging for sources, almost it feels like there's a lot of struggle to not just get yourself into the glory, but getting enough to get by. So it seems like all of these are just small groups that are what's the word? Not divided, but probably divided.
Probably divided, yeah.
Yeah.
They're forced to live with each
Yeah.
other just because of the safety that the wall gives them.
A faction system. I mean,
Yeah.
so
It's
then we have these characters
They're brothers,
that
right? You have to.
yeah, we have these characters that attach themselves to the freelancers. You know, our what are they called? Our ciphers, and then even the guy from EA's 2017 trailer with what was his name, Praxley,
Practically.
coming to a freelancer versus someone else he could have gone to. It makes you wonder, like, so are we just like pay for play mercenaries type of thing? Like, are we just for hire people that go out and do stuff? So I mean, and so are there tiers then? Are there tiers of people that we're going to have to fight with? Are the Lancers the high end? Are the freelancers in the middle? Because didn't Praxley say that he kind of is coming to us because the other people he hired weren't freelancers, and so maybe they were a step below? I don't know.
They were cheaper, but they couldn't. You know, they said they could do it, but they couldn't, and they were cheaper. He's like, I should have just gone to the freelancers anyways. But I mean,
so who do you think they were then, Devin? Were they Lancers? Were they Sentinels? Because those are the only two groups that we've heard of. Is it another group that we haven't heard of?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because it could just be small factions of people that are like, hey, we can go and get stuff done too, just like the freelancers or somebody else. But obviously they're not as successful. And
Right.
I mean, we do know, like in the beginning of the demo, they're like, oh, this, convoys are being attacked, and they're like, oh, this contract's getting exciting. And so I'm sure a lot of it's going to be contract work of, hey, maybe not the story missions, but a lot of the stuff that we're doing is going to be, we got to go fulfill this contract. Because they kind of talked about the freelancers as basically hot shots or whatever, the firefighters that go out and there's a problem, we go and fix the problem. We're not always out there, patrolling like sentinels or whatever, like on guard all the time or whatever. When there's a problem, they call the freelancers, we take care of it, and then we go on our way. So
yeah, this is a part that I've been waiting for since I joined the podcast, which is we now have, like, Bioware has started giving us the pieces to like some of the mysteries of their lore that are either going to get answered in the game or as the game goes along, or maybe in future updates. And I'm sure Ashe knows what I'm talking about. That how Bioware just they'll give you all the pieces that you need to solve this puzzle, but you have absolutely no idea how all of them fit in. Because we got the Legion of Dawn, we got the Lancers, we got the Freelancers, we got the Sentinels, we got the Dominion, we got the Shapers, we got the Scars, and we have no idea how it all fits together just yet. And this is kind of like what I love experiencing, is like slowly unraveling that mystery as you play the game, and it's great to see it happening all over again.
You're like a ground level, back at it. Christmas time for JD. I like it. So, and as we think about the Dominion, we know we've talked about the Dominion. They want to take over the world. They want to harness and weaponize the Anthem of creation. And the actual job of the freelancers is there, as Mark Darrow was talking about in the interview, is we're supposed to stop them. We're supposed to stop the Dominion, and that's kind of the main overarching story right now in Anthem. So I think when you take a really amazing world that we have in Anthem, with all the wildlife, things trying to kill us all the time, plants trying to kill us all the time, and you take that and you make humans, also trying to kill you all the time. It's kind of an interesting power dynamic. It's like, why can't we work together to kind of plan instead of trying to use the Anthem of creation as a weapon? Because we're really, what would the Dominion want to do with that? I mean, are they trying to just enslave people on this planet? I can't imagine that would be a goal on a planet that has so few people on it anyway, that they want to enslave people.
Resources are resources, right? I mean, whether there's a few or a lot, they want control of everything, and so that's the way that they can do that. They can control everything and dictate how the world is ran from the human perspective, So
So it's kind of just we need to control all this, and we want it run the way we want it to be run.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's the constant, always the same power, not scheme, but struggle, where it's like these people, they want things done their way, and maybe they got kicked out, and so they're like, well, we're going to go do our own thing, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to, we're going to show you guys, because maybe they want to force everybody to do things a certain way, and that's not how it's working, and so they going to try and find, a way to use the Anthem of Creation to create weapons and other ways to gain dominance or dominion over
I see what you did there.
over
Don't
everyone.
be hasty.
So
Yeah, on that end, I think it's also the way that the Dominion works is also if I had to pretend I was in their shoes, I would also be angry at the freelancers, because the way that it is that for Tarsus, the freelancers, what they do is they deactivate these different artifacts. They don't do anything with it. They don't they just basically disable it completely. And if I were part of the Dominion and I want power or whatever, it would be a waste of resources. And it just seems like, why would you do that when we can harness it? And if you can figure out how to control it, then it would be worthwhile. But it seems, if I were to put myself in the Dominion's shoes, all they're doing is just, I don't know what this thing does, but it makes things go big, so I turned it off.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
And it can
And then they sit around going, "Stop turning my stuff off."
Yeah.
And the Dominion, a game like this, you could always think that, maybe it is almost, the Anthem of Creation is a deity to them. So interfering with the things that their deity is doing is contrary to their whole belief system. So it's something that they want to stop.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
Well, Mike Gamble said in one of the interviews he did for Game Informer was it's not good and bad, or good versus bad. They're kind of just in the middle ground. They're in a gray area where one, kind of what Ashe was saying, is one side's going one direction, they want it to be one way, and freelancers are going the other. But still, the Dominion wants to use that power, to gain dominance over everyone. So.
Yeah, and it should be noted that they are attempting or trying to make efforts to weaponize the Anthem of Creation. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at it. It may not even be that it's necessarily a bad idea. If controlling the planet that is hostile to your entire race, that's not the worst idea in the world. However, if it's if they just don't care that their attempts are, endangering the lives of everybody and maybe even destroying resources in the pursuit of gaining full control over this planet or over the Shaper tech, then that could be the reason why you want to take them down. It has nothing to do with a difference of ideology, just so much as a hatred of the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we do know that pretty soon, I think that they said the next time that they're going to talk to us, we're going to get a lot more story information. So all the speculation, we'll just have to throw it out the window, because we're most likely be wrong, except for the whole wooden javelin thing. And we'll get all the new information.
It's there. It's going to be
It's there. You
It is
believe
there.
it? It's there.
It's true.
They said the next time was going to be story, but then a couple days later, the developer's like, well, we're going to have a blog post about music, so.
Well, we can't trust a thing they say, so changing things all the time, giving us tidbits here and there.
Well, Mark can just come out of nowhere and be like, hey, let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. I don't know if he's still doing an AMA. I kind of stopped looking at his Twitter feed because
He was answering questions this morning still.
Over again. Was it just about the PS4 date and stuff like that again? I'm sure it was.
No, it was, what was it about? It was multiple consoles with the Legion of Dawn codes and things like that. So
All the good important stuff.
Yeah.
So real quick, unless there's anything else you guys want to touch on story, I would like to kind of move on to something that's been all over. Mark's been talking a lot about this on his AMA. There's been a lot of threads pop up on the Anthem subreddit and a lot of talk in the Anthem Discord about PvP. And first, I want to know how many of you guys are big player versus player players. You guys normally jump into PvP modes in games that you play that have them?
Yes, for me.
Not so much for me.
I used to compete in esports, so I've always loved PvP. But I don't know how to feel about Bioware doing PvP.
So were you like a Halo PvP player, Call of Duty?
Yeah, Halo, Call of Duty, Shadowrun, if you remember that game existing way
Yeah.
back when.
I used to play Shadowrun when it was just pen and paper. So what we need to have Ash and Devin one-on-one Halo 2 era. Ash, is that kind of like when your
Halo
original...
2, Lockout. Wait, no, not Lockout. Shoot. I'm trying to remember it.
Be Halo
Whatever,
2,
be ours.
right? Okay, so we're gonna have off of the cast. We'll have a one-on-one, see who wins. Devin and Ash going at it. Our two aficionados. So
Nice.
So as far as PvP goes, we've been hearing they don't want it to be like so PvP focused, but they want an option to fight against each other. Is from a lot of the things that I've been seeing, because it seems like a lot of people are on board with Bioware that they don't want to have to balance PvE weapons against PvP weapons, so they do want that separate, but they still want something in the game. Do you guys agree that they even need to have any form of PvP in Anthem at all, Mike?
Now I'll preface this with I'm not a PvP, proponent, fan, whatever. When my group is playing PvP, I'll play it just to stay with the group that I'm in. It's not my favorite thing to do. I don't feel, and I would probably, for me, it would probably take a long time for me to even start the PvP part of the game if it were to come with one, because I'd be focused on PvE, finishing story, leveling, stuff like that kind of thing, getting used to the 4 different javelins, honing skills that way. I don't think, for me, PvP is not where I would hone skills, and there's no real draw for me to PvP. So I don't think, hopefully, and it has been said that this game isn't gonna come with it, and I hope they stick with that, and I hope they stick to that, but I don't feel a need for PvP in Anthem.
JD, do you have a PvP preference?
Not really. I mean, for me, when it comes to PvP, it just usually comes down to what really, I enjoy. I don't enjoy every type of PvP I played. I played a lot of Destiny PvP. I love the Iron Banner. I loved Trials of Osiris and stuff like that. I liked For Honor. I liked Titanfall 2. I used to play a ton of Halo PvP when I was in middle school and high school, but it's just not really as much of my thing anymore. It's
because you're getting old and the reflexes aren't what they used to be, right?
Oh no, I'm significantly better. Like when I was a teenager, I was so bad at PvP. I was losing all the time. Now my brain is finally calmed down. I have steady aim. I'm like, this is fantastic. It's just boring.
All right, so Ash and Devin Devin is one of the top PvP players that I know. Ash, I just learned that you also competed, in PvP. So what would be the argument to put PvP in the game? Is there any?
Is there any argument? Is there any? Yeah.
Would there be benefits to putting PvP in Anthem?
Okay. I would say yes for longevity purposes, but the thing is that I would not want. I mean, they're not going to do it because they already confirmed it, but as long as it's like 100 days after the game released, and they say, okay, now we'll implement PvP. It's like, okay, I'm fine with that because everyone's already experienced the story, the core world, like what Anthem is about, and it's, like we already passed on there, and now we have. And if they were to implement PvP, then that gives like us more purpose of why we want to continue playing, opposed to just doing more cooperative raids, or was it the strongholds?
The strongholds,
yeah. Yeah, with like 3 other people, because I can see that getting really not exactly boring over time, but it's just kind of like, okay, we're doing the same content over and over again. I want to be able to show off my character, how far I progress, other than say a scoreboard, or not a scoreboard, a leaderboard across like global or whatnot. For me, PvP is kind of like an afterthought. Like it can be great, but you should get the foundation started first before you jump into having people first play PvP, continue to play PvP. You're going to get a lot of people who are playing that, and then they only want changes that are affecting PvP and not the story, the campaign, or like trying to change any of that or building on top of it. So that's how I see it.
Okay, Devin, do you have a?
Yeah, for me, so I don't ever want to see any type of traditional PvP in Anthem. I think as we've seen from other games where they try and balance those things out, it just never works out. You know, it's one side always suffers, and it's usually the PvE side, and that's really what this game is all about, is the PvE. You know, to me anyways, that's what Anthem is all about. I know a lot of people like to play PvP, and myself included. But, I mean, there's just some games that it's just not really designed for. I mean, they've already told us, you know, because of that, they don't have to worry about the balancing issues. Because of that, they can make us more like superheroes and have, you know, our levels and our gear actually make a difference, you know. Whereas Destiny goes flat real quick and real easy because everyone has, you know, there's a meta to which weapons and gear you have to use all the time, and so you can be effective in PvP because the tuning is this for that, and it's just, it's not good for this type of game. I don't think it's good for this type of game. Now if they do something similar to like Destiny or WoW, where they you know, or any other game where it's PvE / PvP, where they have, you know, just there's two teams competing or two or more teams competing to try and complete an event or whatever that's going on. I see that as an easy way for them to add some kind of PvP. There's still a level of competition, you know, so I mean, it's not directly PvP, but you're still competing against another team. And I think that's probably the fastest way for them to implement some kind of player versus player competitiveness, if they want to do that. Like I said, I don't want to see any traditional PvP in Anthem because it'll ruin what is Anthem. I mean, I guess if they do traditional PvP, they could do it by having completely separate, you know, ecosystem where it's like, okay, these are PvP only javelins, and you can't take any of your gear into it. You can only level up by playing PvP with this javelin. Although I hate those things where it's like, oh, you have to go play PvP to level this part up or to get an achievement or get this specific type of gear, because then it's going to force people that don't like that to play PvP. And so I don't want to be forced to have to play something to get a piece of gear. I mean, besides playing the PvE, I mean, obviously we're playing that. So, but I don't want to be like, oh, you can only get this gear in PvP, which doesn't make sense to me. So that's my thoughts.
I think it would be really cool if they were to implement something like that, like where they had like, okay, PvP exists, but in order to not grind it so hard, there would be you have a piece of gear that has a PvE stats and also PvP stats. I think WoW did that like after the third expansion or something like that. But like, so that the grind doesn't exist to that extent, but you can still keep going. Like you can earn gear in PvE. And if you want, oh yeah, let me play PvP with my friends real quick, just like, and I don't have to grind for that. I can just hop in and enjoy it with them.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and jumping off of something that Devin said, if they were to use something like, I don't know, like pre-made like PvP, like javelin loadouts with like special javelin weapons that are only for PvP, I think then you can have you can then allow them to make the changes, like balance changes that need to be made without them having to tweak any aspect of any item in PvE. Like just have it be like, this is the PvP Colossus for long range. This is the PvP Colossus for short range, and the same thing for Storm, Interceptor. You know, like maybe 2 or 3 different versions of each javelin with, you know, things that you wouldn't necessarily have in PvE, you know.
And I think, you know, as I've been thinking about it, talking about like imagining how a PvP match in Anthem would go if it was 4-on-4 or if it was 6-on-6. I mean, the game is built for four people per server. And then with the mobility, the flying, the hovering, I mean, that just seems like that would be the worst case. That would be the worst place to play a PvP match, because you can't shoot while you're flying and you're flying around the map all the time. I mean, you'd just be being shot at the whole time and not be able to do anything about it. I mean, that's the cool part about Anthem, being able to fly, the verticality. And if you take that to a PvP match, to where you're just playing deathmatch against people, that sounds like, that incorporates a whole lot of other issues that normal games don't have to think about, that you can fly the whole time and that you can't shoot while you're flying. So you're just kind of, as you're moving, you're getting shot at. I mean, I don't even know how it would work fundamentally in the game. And I don't know if people, they think, oh, look, there's guns. There should be a PvP mode so we can shoot each other. I don't think that would work at all in this game, unless you're just, you can't fly now. And I don't know if anyone would want to play a PvP match where you can't fly, because that seems like you're taking away the whole, power suit armor aspect of Anthem.
Well, but then that also creates the idea, or the thing about the maps that you'd have to create in PvP in order to balance the flying and shooting aspect. I mean, you'd have to have levels and like vertical mazes up. I mean, it'd almost be just ridiculous. Like I'm breaking my brain here thinking about a map for PvP where you can fly but not shoot, so you have to land. So there has to be places for you to land. You can hover and shoot.
But that's like, hey, look at me, shoot me, I'm hovering. I know, like in Borderlands and in Diablo 3, they have a little arena battle mode that some people have been asking for. It's like, hey, if I just want to duel against my friend, and we just fight out with whatever we have, and, one person wins, and then that's it. People said they want something like that. But then, after playing Diablo 3 a bunch, there's a lot of people that still want that duel mode to be expanded to an actual PvP mode, and they know Blizzard knows they'll never be able to do that, and they'll never be able to balance it with the gear that they have. So it's like, where it's not going to happen, don't ask for it. It's never going to work.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever played those, it's like, okay, that was...
Yeah, you shoot each other in the face, and that's it. And then you're
That was fun. That was fun.
So no PvP? Good. I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and build a whole new PvP mode in 220 days, and I'm sure it'll be great right out the gate. No one will complain about it.
No one will complain. Well, no one will complain anyway, because people don't complain about stuff that
No one
comes out.
complains on the internet.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The internet's full of reasonable, open-minded individuals.
We've been on for 50 minutes and people have complained 38 times. So don't worry about it. It's all good.
Thank you for reminding me that we've been on for 50 minutes. So we're going to end our PvP discussion. We're going to go into our quiz portion of our podcast. In light of JD has been telling us all about Bioware the whole time he's been on this podcast. Mike and Devin and I are like, sure, dude, whatever. We have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what a Turian is. I don't know what a Solarian is.
I know what he's talking about. Come on.
Said that right.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'll take this quiz. I'll show you.
Okay, Devin, you can take it too. Now that we have another Bioware master with Ashe on, we're, of course, going to put you in a player versus player mode. Since Anthem doesn't have it, we're going to create it here on the podcast where you guys are going to compete against each other. So this is our Bioware quiz. So this is how it's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to take you through all the mechanics of this.
Did you just put gunners on?
Put your hands up so you can't be searching anything, JD. All right? Hands up. You can't be searching.
I am pushing my push to talk button because of our lovely fifth host, Skittles, in the other room. So,
the old bird. All right, so this is how the quiz is going to go. Okay, so Ashe and JD are going to go head to head in this Bioware battle. Mike and Devin are going to take turns choosing a category of which I'm going to ask a question from. And then Ashe and JD are going to have to race to answer the question as I'm reading it. So whoever, you're going to have to come up with a catchphrase that you shout out that we can figure out who said it first. And then you're going to have to answer a question. So, and Mike and JD, before I ask that, are going to pick who they think is going to get the question right. So if they pick the right person...
You said JD, but did you mean Devin?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm just making sure everybody out there does.
All right. You got this. So then you guys are going to pick. Mike and Devin are going to pick whether JD or Ashe are going to get it right. So you're going to guess if they're going to get the question right. And if you guess the person that got it right, you'll get points. And the person that got the question right are going to get equal amount of points. So at the end of this, we're going to see who's the best, chooser of the Bioware champion and who's the best Bioware champion. Okay. And
So wait a second. There's a mollusk and a sea cucumber.
No.
And they're both walking?
No, nobody's walking.
What is happening?
Nobody's
Mike's
talking.
confused about
I'm
Steve's
so
scoring system.
confused.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen, Mike. I'm going to say, what am I going to say? See, you're throwing me off with all of your Pixar quotes here. All right, so this is what's going to happen. Mike and what?
How about you ask a question? We will shout our name if we know the answer, and you will call on us.
Because I will tell you, Mike and Devin, you guys will not know the answers to this. So, Michael, I need you to give me a number, odds or even.
Odd.
Little faith.
Okay, it's even. So, Devin, you are going to pick for question number 1.
Okay.
You are going to pick whether you think JD is going to get it right or whether Ashe is going to get it right.
Ash is going to get it right.
Okay. So then I'm going to ask this question. And
I'm gonna embarrass myself somewhere here. It's gonna like. I'm
Don't
gonna-
worry,
man.
I've already embarrassed myself, so
I
don't
have
worry.
faith in you also, JD.
So does that mean Ashe is the only one who gets to answer?
No. So I'm going to ask the question, then JD and Ashe are going to buzz in with your super secret personal catchphrase. So you guys have to select your catchphrase now, whatever you're going to yell.
Shepherd.
Okay. So Ashe is going to yell Shepherd. JD, you're going to yell
Warden.
Okay. I don't know what those mean, so we're just going to go with that. And then I'm going to ask the question. Whoever answers it first is going to get points, and if Ashe gets it, Devin will get points. So that's.
But what if I think Ashe is gonna get it?
Doesn't matter.
Well-
You got the roll wrong.
Yeah. So.
Dang.
All right. So here we
Your,
go.
your PvP mechanics are weird, man.
They're very convoluted and they'll never work. So this is kind of like an Anthem.
Gone through many levels of testing. Don't worry.
I know. This is the first time. All right. This has been the first show. All right. Question number 1. This is a question in the Dragon Age universe. Okay. So get your Dragon Age on here. So Dragon Age 2 was released in what year?
What?
Oh, you're supposed to say Shepherd.
Oh, Shepherd.
Did you say
Oh my
what?
god.
And in a
2011.
self-fulfilling prophecy,
What?
it's a Dragon Age question.
I just totally just brain farted right there. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. We'll cap it out and use it in future shows. Don't worry about it.
God.
No, she is right though.
I didn't hear an answer. I was too busy laughing. I'm sorry.
2011.
That is correct.
I could have told you that, Steven. Come on.
You could not.
Oh, Devin, sit in the back and
All
chill
right.
out.
So Devin and Ashe get points on that. The points don't matter. They're all made up. So Mike, you get to pick now. Who's going to get this next question correct?
I'll go with JD. I think he can do it.
Okay. So here we go. This is another Dragon Age question. I don't know what game it's from. It's from Dragon Age, right? I used the wiki. Who orchestrated the peace conference in the original Dragon Age? It's like in the beginning of the game. I played the beginning of the game.
Are we talking about Dragon Age Origins or are we talking about Dragon Age Inquisition?
You know, yes. The original Dragon Age. Which one's the original Dragon Age? Dragon Age.
I mean, the peace conference was at the beginning of Inquisition, so
Sure.
Yeah, Shepherd.
that would've been-
Oh,
Yeah.
that would have been the Chantry and the Mages, right?
hey, you
Yeah.
didn't. You didn't.
Hey,
You didn't.
Warden.
Oh, she already said Shepherd. She already said Shepherd.
This
Damn.
Okay, so I think we're talking about Dragon Age Inquisition. It was supposed to be a summit between the mages and the Templars. It was going to be orchestrated by Divine Justinia and.
I can't believe you got that. That blows my mind. That you were able to answer that
I can
question.
keep going. I know.
Did you write the Wikipedia entry? Because that was like almost
No.
verbatim.
Actually, funny story. I was previously accused of jacking information from the wiki for a whole bunch of my lore guides, and I'm like, no, I've just played like all the games again and again and again.
oh
And
man.
then you wrote the wiki. I'm like, I was.
Oh man. I'm sorry, Mike. I let you down.
Yeah,
You
big
did.
time. I mean,
You did. You dropped that ball.
I think
You
you could probably get a
dropped that ball.
PhD in Bioware like backstory and lore.
He knew the answer. He just,
Forgot to
forgot
buzz
this is
in.
Jeopardy, and you have to.
Yeah.
Correctly. All right. So
Forgot to buzz in.
all right. Next question. So Devin, you get to pick.
So what is it?
I'm
Ash
going
is
to
2 for
stick
2 now,
with
right?
Ash. You know,
Ash
the
is 2 for
winner.
Okay,
Well,
so this next
JD.
one's hard, okay? This
Come on,
I believe in
JD.
JD, man. I believe in JD.
We are moving to the Mass Effect universe here, okay?
I now believe in JD.
Okay, so this one's hard. So you need to name the 9 races of the Milky Way galaxy from Mass Effect.
All
Yeah.
9?
You
Warden.
got to chime in first. Oh, there you go,
Oh,
JD.
Shepard. God damn it.
All right. Let's see. Humans, Krogans, Turians, Quarians, Asari, Drell. Did I already say Solarian?
Drell is incorrect.
They're in the Milky Way galaxy, though.
I just pulled this
They
off the
visit.
wiki. Ash wrote it.
Okay.
She changed it real fast. She changed
Asari,
it real fast.
Solarian,
Changed.
Hanar, Hanar. What's
The one that looked like floating blimps with the legs. I don't
Well,
know.
those are the Hanar. Those are the Hanar. And then
You could have told me they were the Beavis. I would believe. So, according to the wiki, it's the human, Turian, Asari, Solarian, Krogan, Quarian. Is that how you say that? No one.
Yeah,
killing me?
Quarian,
The Bolus.
Quarian.
The Hanar, and the Elcor.
Yep.
So that's the 9. So
Do you want to know the easy way of remembering all of them? Or most of them?
I do.
You have a mnemonic for that?
Sort of. So Morden in Mass Effect 2, he sings the entire
Oh.
thing. Nigga, what is it? I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I study species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. Oh my god, I can't remember all of them right now.
Oh,
But
you
that
got to
whole
keep
song-
going. Nope, you
Yes,
got
I
to keep
know it's a
going.
tautology.
We are not ending this show until we get that.
I need to remember.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We need that soundbite.
Science studies range from species from something to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna let it keep going. I'm glad I had this question.
Do I get points for that, or am I totally wrong?
You
I'm
got
gonna give both of you points for trying to sing that song. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Mike and Devin points for encouraging it. So here we go. You guys all got it. Okay, so whose turn? I think it's Mike's turn to pick. We are sticking with the Mass Effect universe here. I believe we're going to Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, Andromeda. So, JD, you haven't got one yet. I'm counting on you, man. Like pull this out now.
I'm not good at Andromeda lore, so you might. I think you got it.
All right, so here we go. How many years was the Hyperion Arc traveling through space?
Son of a bitch.
Devin.
Devin times in.
I guess.
600 years.
Devin, you just broke Steven's PvP.
You really did break my PV. You're like a character that glitched through the map and got into the area you weren't supposed to have. So I'm gonna before I tell you if you're right or wrong, I'm gonna let JD answer, or well, JD or Ash, because you guys are supposed to chime in here.
Warden. I don't know
Bless
why.
you.
The only number that's standing out in my brain is like 573. So
That's
I
oddly
doubt-
specific.
if that's why I'm like I don't know if that's right or if that's something else entirely. Like that could be like my dry cleaning number.
Yeah. Huh. Also oddly specific. Ash, do you want to take a stab at this?
So it's either 734 or it's 634.
Wow, it is 634 years.
Yeah, so close. I knew it was 600 something. I know this one. It's close.
I am impressed. Devin, I'm impressed that you were that close because I didn't even know you could read. Ash, I'm impressed that you got it that close. Well done.
Well,
All right.
she was within 100 though. I mean,
Give or take.
give or take,
I just
right?
remember the last two
134.
digits, that's all.
Right. So
Because I remember
okay.
having to say it like 6 million times in videos. Like, yeah, it's by the way, it's 634. It's 634.
nice.
Oh, that
I'm going to go
explains
ahead
it.
and give this one to Devin because he was close. I'll give him half points, and I'll give Ash full points.
Can
Yeah, I
give
should
my
get full points anyways
again?
because JD got it wrong. No, just kidding.
My PvP mode is very confusing. It's very hard to understand. You have to min-max 5. Okay, this is the last question.
Oh, thank goodness.
This is an Anthem question. So, Devin, you get to pick who you're going to go with this one. Your co-host has been podcasting with you about Anthem for the last year and a half. Or Ashe. Not to say that Ashe doesn't know anything about Anthem, but...
I know nothing about Anthem.
What? You don't...
All right, JD, I'm going to put my faith in you on the last question here. Save the best for last.
Oh, man.
And if you let me down, I'll be okay.
You're out of the herd.
We'll be okay. Okay. Here we go. In the EA Play demo, the freelancers have to collect 6 blanks and put them into the blank. What are the blanks?
Shepherd.
Warden.
Oh, Ash.
Ash.
Ash
Echoes.
first.
Echoes.
Echoes and into the...
Oh, there was a second part.
There's 2
Yeah.
blanks.
God, I can explain it, but I don't remember the actual name.
Come on,
They
you
put-
can... You,
they
I don't
put
know
the-
if there's a song yet about it, so...
Oh God. No, there's no song about it, but there should be.
Mike, can you make up a song real quick?
I can. It's actually ready to go as soon as she answers this question.
That. They put the echoes into the
You put the lime in the coconut.
coconut. No, I don't know. Okay, I passed. Sorry. Ugh.
Okay.
She
All right,
passed.
JD. It's all
JD
good.
for the win. Or for the steal.
It's Shaper Echoes, and I believe it's into the Shaper Relic. I don't know.
Yeah, you put the thing and into this like rift-looking things that look
Spiky
like Dragon
sound
Age.
wave, liquid.
Put the thing in the
It's
other
like
stuff.
Dragon Age. You put the thingy in the
You
thingy,
put
and then
the
it goes
six
boom.
Into the Shaper interface.
Interface.
Oh, I have one more question here for the tiebreaker. So real quick, and anyone can answer this. So how many games has Bioware released to date?
Mike,
Go ahead, Mike.
18.
That is correct.
Ah.
And Steven thought we would know nothing about Bioware
I'm
games.
pretty sure Mike read my quiz before, but I'll get you that anyway because I
Hacks.
can't verify that.
He looked at the interface.
I did. I looked at the interface.
It's just like if you type any information down ahead of time in the podcast
One
notes,
time.
he'll
One
steal your
time.
notes. And take the
One
message out.
time.
So we're gonna say congratulations to our guest Ashe for dominating our quiz with the mad Dragon Age knowledge. Yeah, very impressed. Well done.
Thank you.
JD, you better go back and play Dragon Age. Sounds like.
Man,
Before next week, we expect a full run through. And we will be asking all the questions.
In
that hit home.
between moving and everything else that's going on in your life.
Got
oh
nothing
man.
else going on.
Oh, there's 12 hours at night where everybody's asleep. Don't worry about
That's not enough.
it.
Well, freelancers, for me, Devin, JD, Mike, and Ashe, this has been episode. What episode is this? 46? Yeah, I think it's episode 46.
112.
Episode 46 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest running Anthem podcast on the internet. We like to thank our guest. Can't talk now.
English
Ashe
is
for
hard.
joining us. English is hard, and hope to have you back pretty soon. Until next time, freelancers, there's a shipper storm coming. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Later.
Peace.